Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Mejia, and you're watching The Buzz.
She wish she was fine. She wish she was a diamond. 'Cause I'm a hottie and this a party. She wish she was me and that's your bad.
So, I started singing when I was very young. My father was in the music industry and I was pursuing it at a very young age. Since I was 12 years old, I started to sing professionally, and I went and I tried out for a national television show, and I was one of the competitors one of the 4 competitors to go on and get a record deal with Interscope Records, and we did a group called Girlicious, and it was a great experience. You know, I was a young 19-year-old girl navigating how to become a young woman and what that meant, and I got to basically grow up into a young woman on camera in front of the public. And I believe that there are seasons through our lives where there's ebbs and flows, and we grow and we transition into the next season and who we're going to become. And so after the group disbanded, I went on a solo journey to do my solo career as a singer-songwriter, and I had always been in girl groups since I was 12 years old, so this was like a new journey to embark on, and discovering who I was on my own outside of the girl group dynamic and what that looked like. So yeah.
You might catch me stumbling like I've been sipping all night, baby. All night, baby.
Wait a minute.
Hey there, boy, you got my heart. Just keep doing that to me. Just keep doing that to me.
I remember the first time I performed as a solo artist, and I remember that it was like so exciting, but also there was this pressure to like now vocally sing everything on my own. And before, like, because we're doing so much choreography, I had the opportunity to like pass the mic off and the moment off to another, young lady and do my own dancing and catching my breath and like, pacing myself, and then remembering when I had the microphone. Not that the eyes ever shifted, because when you're on a stage, I mean, you're being watched 24/7, dancers included. But I did remember feeling like this pressure of like, okay, it's all on you. It's like your moment to like hit every note, stay in pocket, stay like consistent with your breath. So there was more pressure, but it was very nerve-wracking and like very exciting, and also very challenging to like grow as an artist. This was a period of growth. And so, yeah, I do remember the first time. Cutting records in the studio, again, it took double the time, because at different points, I've always been in girl groups of like 4 to 3 girls. So my portion was always coming in for a couple hours and being like, okay, cool, I did like a part of a verse, a pre-chorus, maybe like a lead off of a verse, off of a chorus, and it was never the whole thing. So coming in on my own, having to sing everything top to bottom, including backgrounds, it was a challenge in terms of like, more time, but what I loved about it is that I had more creative input, and that's one of the reasons I think I did decide to go on the solo venture, was to say, okay, who am I and what do I have to say as an artist, and how do I deliver that and experience the full process, as to how I want to be seen and what I have to share. So yeah.
Here's to the time you stayed on that grind. You made up your mind that you'll see this through. Shut out the lies, continue to climb. The payout is high when your dreams come true. Could you be the one?
So transitioning to new music was very exciting, and also nerve-wracking, because you're stepping into an unfamiliar space. And I've always done pop music. Like, I've always done a specific genre of music, especially in the girl group realm. So I was very familiar. And this is like an unknown experience in terms of even the politics of like this side of the music industry and what that looks like and what it looks like to grow as an artist inside the Christian genre. And moving in that space, I was like, okay, this is something that is so close to my heart and so important to why I want to do music. And that love is really the motivation, my relationship with God, my faith, and how that the closeness that I've developed over the years. I really wanted to share that, because as an artist, we create to share and tell a story that's so close and important to ourselves. And so for me, I couldn't do it any other way. So I was like very excited to do this, but also like the unknown. It's like the unknown walk, the unknown territory of this, and what that is going to entail is still a mystery, right? We're walking through the steps, and it's still very new and like very exciting, but it's so close to my heart, and that's really what motivates this journey. So this album specifically is a testimony album. This is the journey that I've experienced in the music industry and like what God brought me out of, but also like my love for God and where that relationship started to grow. And so I'm telling a story in this album, and I believe that I would say genre-wise, it's Christian pop, Christian R&B. So because I do reference just my love for God and just what God's done in my life and the journey that I've been on since leaving and disbanding from Girlicious. I wanted it to be in the Christian genre just because it's so important to me to share my faith and what that looks like and means to me as an individual, because we all have our relationship with God and we're on this journey. And I wanted to share like the deepest parts of me. I would say it was like a diary in essence. And I definitely feel like it's very evident in the lyrical content of, if you listen to the lyrics specific or you just like even read them, that it is that journey and that God is present in every song that I do on this album, and my reflection and perception in this current moment. And where I go next, because there's going to be a B-side to this album, and so that's very exciting. I hope to release it by the end of December, and that's. I really want to do praise and worship music as well. So I believe that there's like an order of operations. It's like, here I am in this, in the music industry and like what that journey looked like. And as far as fans are familiar, that was the last music I did, was like this pop music. And so it's like picking up and saying, okay, well, let's talk about what happened in between that space to this space musically. So it's a story and a testimony. And then going from the testimony to saying, okay, so now this is another venture, a new area, a new space that I also want to walk in. So I'm very excited about that. So I think there's a space of like, I've always believed in God and had a relationship with God, but I got baptized in 2020. So I decided to step into a faith where I was like now devoting my life and purpose to God, and so what that looked like for me was a shift, because before it was like, what do I want to do? I believe in God, but like, what am I going to do? But what does Natalie want to do? And now it was more of like, what has God called me to do? So it was really a spiritual shift as to, now I have purpose in glorifying God, and what is God called me to do? And that's revealing itself to me, essentially. Like, everyone has a design and has a purpose here, on this earth. And so I definitely shifted greatly, I would say like 5.5 years ago. So that definitely represents how I do music now and like what I do as an artist. Absolutely. The lyrical content was challenging, but not as challenging because again, it was like in my heart, I'm like, what do I want to do for me? And if they're telling me you want to be on a stage, I'm like, sure, I'll do it. I'll sing the lyrics. And I didn't get to write the songs essentially either. So that's another part of being an artist when you get signed to a major label. Especially, it depends on your your story, how they discovered you essentially. But if you're on a reality show, it's likely that they're going to say, hey, we have these great songwriters and song producers to really take you to the next level. You've got to trust the process. And in that trusting, we go and we sing the records that are written for us, So that isn't necessarily always true of like how I felt in those moments. But now as a Christian woman and where I am as a grown woman, again, I'm not 19 years old anymore. So I get to say, hey, this is like who I am on the inside, who I am as an artist and what I care to share. So I wrote all my songs on my album. And so I'm excited that I got to do that, because I really got to speak from a place of like where my heart is, Yeah, so I just released my album on July 7th. Very exciting. Again, there is going to be a B-side. So there's 7 songs on that project, and there's going to be another 7 to follow. And I'm really excited because people ask me, is this going to be like a dance record, because they're so used to me doing dance music like in my past, and I love dancing. I was a background dancer for many years, also prior to the group. So that was, part of the question. And then I came out with some ballads and mid-tempos, and people were like, there was some reviews and like, hey, where's the dance record? So I was like, oh, don't worry, there's going to be some dance records. So I chose to do a B-side, and I wanted to do 7 dance records. So it's going to be something different. Most people put on a balance of like, mid-temps and ballads and the dance records all in one project, but I wanted to kind of separate it and like let it speak from a season and a space that felt like the appropriate rollout for that project. So Yeah, stay tuned for the B-side. Look out for it. Get ready to dance. And I'm excited for it. So working on it now.
Some days I feel like nothing's going my way. Can't catch a break, I swear I'm losing this game. When will the tables turn? When will the tides change? I need a resolution, need it today.
Currently, because I just released the project, I would say like just a few weeks ago, I wanted to kind of test out what people were gravitating towards. I didn't want to jump into a video that I felt like was not going to be what, I didn't want to also make a video for every one of the songs. I wanted to do kind of like some short form content because I really feel like that's where it's at right now. People, attention spans, I don't know how you guys feel, but attention spans ain't making it through like 40 minutes or even like 3 full minutes of anything. It's like first 30 seconds. Okay. So I wanted to kind of test it out and say, let's see what records are really like, people are really vibing with and like love and fall in love with, and let's focus on those for long form videos. Hi, my name is Natalie Mejia, and you have just been buzzed.
Wake up, I pray. When I lay down, I pray.